What's up, everybody? This is the Radiant Sun, Jake Redondo, and you're watching the CCP broadcast.
What is happening, friends of CCP Podcasting? Welcome to Beyond the Bell Live. I am Chris Page. It is a Sunday afternoon here in Florida, and I cannot wait to sit down and visit with each and every one of you today. We were just on the air just literally an hour ago with Wrestling Request Live. We just went off, so hopefully some of you guys come back in and hang out with us today. And again, if not, shame on you. You'll be seeing it over on YouTube. Before we get to our guest today, I do want to take a minute. Guys, T-shirts are on the way. We have officially made our first order. Pre-sales are going pretty quickly. If you're interested in picking up one, you can hit me up a DM at ccp_podcasting on Instagram. And we're looking to have our full shipment. Our full order will be here by the end of October, as well as our brand new website. Yes, you heard that correct. Website coming. It will be ccppodcasting.com. A lot of fun things that you're going to get some announcements on over the next week or two, involving some affiliates with some possible federations, and maybe a documentary being filmed. We'll see. But today our guest is coming to us from Southern California. I had the great honor and privilege of being able to sit down and catch the anniversary spectacular of Millennium Pro Wrestling, and our guest was coming in as the reigning defending MPW heavyweight champion. We had him on the show with his challenger at the time, the week of, and I knew that I wanted to circle back around and be able to sit down and really pick this guy's brain, because I feel like what he's doing out there on the SoCal scene is really good, and it's fantastic to see. And I truly feel like if you guys get the opportunity to sit down and have a conversation with him, you'll feel the same way I do. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, our guest today ran through a murderer's row of a who's who of challengers while carrying the MPW Heavyweight Championship, and has done so much stuff with Millennium Pro, from full send all the way to where he is now. I cannot wait for you guys to get the opportunity to sit down and talk to him as well. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Dustin Daniels. How is it going, brother? Welcome to the show.
I'm doing great so far. How about you?
See, I knew I should have said jacked. I knew I should have threw jacked.
You got a little
there.
something. You know what? I'll let that slide. It's all right.
I knew I should have done it, man. It's fantastic to be able to sit down and have this opportunity to talk to you. We got to work together on another show as we were working towards, you guys were building towards your anniversary spectacular, and I had the privilege of being able to have both you and Bucio on, and try and build a little bit more excitement to it. I know that our channel loved it. You've got already Goth from the Netherlands is telling you hello, welcome to CCP. You got Danny Devine throwing some eyes at you. I guess he's expecting you to talk shit. We're not there, or we may not get there at all. But at the end of the day, man, it is a pleasure to have this conversation, because I feel like you have a lot. There's a lot that we didn't get to talk about before that we will get to talk about now.
Yeah, and I'm excited to be here. It's it was one thing doing that interview with Bucio, which that was a whole lot of fun. But now it's me.
Yeah,
you're getting me.
Yep, and I'm here for it, brother. I have had the several opportunities to talk to you as we were rolling towards your anniversary spectacular, and even while I was out in town, I had a couple of times we had a few minutes to where we could sit down and just talk for just a second. And I'm gonna treat it like I treat anything else. And when we start these conversations off, like, I want to know, where do you fall in love with professional wrestling? At what point in time in your life does it intersect with you, and what drew you in?
So I'll start it from the very beginning. So I remember my dad was always a pretty big wrestling fan. Like, he grew up in the Hogan era, so that was like, Hogan was his guy. So rock and wrestling, that's his whole deal. So I remember when I was younger, he had a lot of those the Jakks Classic Superstar figures of those guys. So that's kind of my first memory. And then he also had like the Hulk Still Rules DVD and stuff like that. But I kind of dismissed wrestling at first. I was like, this whatever. This stuff is whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then like a couple of years down the line, I actually watched it. Like, it just showed up on TV one time, and I'm like, oh, I'll watch this. And it was entertaining. It was nice show of athleticism. Like wrestling, you need to like actually watch it, and then you'll understand it. Like a lot of people discredit wrestling too much, like it's fake, but like you need to watch it. Like
I
it's good. It's good.
I tell somebody who tells me that bullshit, go run the ropes. Let me see you do it for 3 minutes, and then tell me how fake it is. Let me
Yeah.
see that, then go from there. But who were some of the ones your guys that you were watching? Who were some of the talents that resonated with you when you started getting into your fandom?
But when I first started watching, I think it was so CM Punk was still in that big title reign. This was probably right after WrestleMania 28. So I remember the first my first ever favorite wrestler was Rob Van Dam.
Oh, my
'Cause I
dude.
remember it was like Money in the Bank 2014. He they did like a bunch of vignettes for him. I'm like, oh, this dude's sick. And then we got the pay per view, and I'm like, oh, this guy's badass. So like RVD was my very first favorite wrestler that I had. So he was my guy.
Let me tell you this. It's funny that you mentioned Rob Van Dam. I'm not kidding you. Yesterday, I was having a conversation. I cannot remember if it was somebody from my channel or if it was may have even been an off air show that I were filming for something else. We were talking about Rob Van Dam, and I laid it out there. I said one of the most underrated feuds of all time is Rob Van Dam and Jerry Lynn from ECW.
Yep.
That entire series of matches, I can watch them and it not get old. It's one of those things I can just pop it on at any point in time. I think that they were tremendous. So to see that Van Dam was one of your first inspirations, was it the athleticism behind it, or was it the fact that this? What was it that about Van Dam?
He was just cool, you know.
Well,
I don't know if it was like the singlets, the like his attitude. He was just cool, and I'm like, man, this guy's sick.
and I'm
And
gonna tell you,
he had a dope move set too. He was doing some unique stuff.
he is exactly as you see him on television. I've had the honor and privilege of being in Mr. Van Dam's company on more than one occasion. And let me tell you something. Yes, sir. My kind of guy. He was tremendous, but he's so polite too, and with his knowledge that he would talk to us and just tell us a little bit about stuff like that. Like for me, I would ask him about his stuff with Jerry Lynn, and he always tell me, man, they always told us that we were never a main event. So our job, we wanted to go out there and show them we were. And then they ended up doing it. And they ended up headlining a pay-per-view. And they ended up changing the narrative about how they were viewed within the confines of ECW. And I thought that shit was really cool. And it was a different perspective on what got him where. And now you throw it back at me, not even 24 hours later. That's fantastic.
Funny enough, I've actually met him before once too. It was as a fan. Like I don't even think I'd started training yet, but I remember it was at PCW, or I think they were called PCW Ultra now. They kind of run in Torrance, California. I remember he was their champion, and like they did a meet and greet before the show. So my dad and I met him, and something that I always kind of remember that I just kind of something that even I kind of sort of do now is like he like gave me the title for the picture, and then he hit me with the oh don't show this picture to anyone. I don't want anyone to think that like I lost something along the lines of that. So whenever like even when I am a heel, like if a kid wants a picture, I'll always give them the title, and that was kind of something because Van Dam did it to me.
Yeah, no, it's weird how stuff like that resonates, and then you carry it with you. And going from meeting Rob Van Dam to your adventure into trying to get into professional wrestling. What did that look like when you decided that you wanted to try and give this a go? What was your process? How did you get into training? What steered you in that direction to finally give it a go?
So funny. So I started training when I was 14 years old. I wanted to do it earlier than that. So I remember on YouTube there was these videos of these like kids having matches in a legitimate professional wrestling ring, and it was actually kind of in the area. It was a gentleman by the name of Rick Drazen, who unfortunately has passed away, but he had a ring in his backyard, and they did actual training. And I saw these YouTube videos of like these kids like having actual matches. I'm like, oh, I want to do that. So I think my dad and I tried to get in contact. I don't know if anything ever happened, but um, down the line. So my dad's a school teacher, and one of his students was his name. He was a wrestler. His name's Hellkid and he would wrestle at MPW. So he told my dad about MPW. So for my 14th birthday, my dad and I actually went to MPW for the very first time, and then probably like a month later, I say he joined me for a little bit. I think just to like make sure like okay, these guys are gonna take care of him and things like that. But yeah, so I went to my first MPW show at 14 years old. A month later, I'm training there, and gosh, I remember the very first training day I had. It was like I was shitting bricks on the way over there. I was like freaking out, like oh my god, this is happening. And part of me was like, oh man, do I just tell my dad like, no, screw this, let's go back? But no, we stuck with it. It was it was fun. You know, we were doing a lot of rolling and stuff like that. And I think it was the next training session after that is when I met Danny, and then that's when that kind of started. So Danny's been a big part of, or actually, Danny. There is no Dustin Daniels without Danny Devine. There's other people that have helped too, like Brendan, Daniel Moon. There's a lot of people that have contributed to me, but like the main person and someone like if you think I'm good, it's because of Danny Devine. If you think I suck, it's because of Danny Devine. But I'm just kidding. But like
No, it's not.
everything,
Blame him. Blame him. You get one shot, bro. Just
like
kidding.
everything like you see about me is because of Danny Devine, and I'm very grateful for him and not just him, everyone at MPW because everyone has helped somehow, some way.
Well, it's wild because everyone that I've spoken to, obviously Divine is Danny, and I mean Brandon too, have ties to going back 20 years to MPW, and now everyone's got a kind of a hand in bringing guys like you and into this and up into this. And the more that I watch Millennium Pro Wrestling, the more that I see that these guys, you guys they're doing it right, man. They're churning out some really good pieces of talent. When you decide that you're going in, your dad's with you, which I think is really cool too, because even if it's just a hey, let me just make sure that this is on board and on par, like I do think that's pretty dope of him to take that step with you, so you're not by yourself. Because again, you're 14. Like this is high school, and this is something finding this out. Like we've talked to a lot of different guys from all over the world, and have been a handful that have started at 12, 13, and 14. And I kind of find that a lot more impressive because you're fucking in high school or middle school or what have you. You're balancing a personal life, you're balancing school, you're balancing grades, you're balancing professional wrestling or training for professional wrestling. And I say that it's refreshing because you're honed in and you're tuned in and you're showing a level of maturity by being able to juggle all these different things at such a young age, when there are other influences that are around you that could easily take you one way or another, especially at 14, 15, 16 years old. When you start getting into this stuff, what were some of your difficulties? What were some of the things that you had, problems overcoming? And what were some stuff that you took to naturally when you're getting into the ring and you're starting to train?
I think in terms of difficulties, like professional wrestling's hard. So honestly, everything was difficult. Sure, some things were maybe a little easier than others, but everything is difficult. Professional wrestling is not easy. And I'm not trying to act like I am the best in the world at it, but like it's tough. Like everything is tough, and the more you keep going, and then I had a good group of guys around me again. Danny, Brendan, Moon was there. I should probably shout out Robin Shaw too, and Chuck Mercer. They were there too, so they helped me get through everything. You know, they were always there taking care of me. So the actual training was hard, but they were also taking care of me as well. In terms of things I picked up easily, honestly, I can't really think. That was just so long ago. I remember. I think I was talking about it with someone the other day. Like this coming January, that's going to be nine years since I stepped in the ring for the first time, which is also wild because it's like longer than any sport I've ever played and stuff like that. So it's like a wild thing to just process.
Let
Like,
me blow your
I've been doing
mind.
this for a while.
Let me just I'm gonna blow your mind right out of the water right now. So, you're 23, right? Or you're about to turn. You're 23. Or you're 24.
22, about to turn 23 at the end of the year.
All right, so you're coming up on 23, almost a decade. You're 9 years deep. 10 years is right around the corner. You're 10 years at 24. The mind blowing aspect is if you're this good now, think about where you're going to be in 5 years. At 24 years old, that puts you at 29. Your prime is your mid fucking 30s, bro. With professional wrestling now, and the way it is now, mid 30s to late 30s into your early 40s, you're touching your prime because you take care of yourself. That's fucking scary. How good you are now to where you're going to be when this thing, starts even beginning to think about settling down is going to be nuts. Insane. That's how good you are. And side note, Danny Devine says the first time that you walked in, you had a Space Jam t-shirt on. So he said, okay, I'll train you.
I have that shirt somewhere.
Well, as you're coming in and you get through training, and I know I want to get into a little bit of your debut and what did that look like for you? Did you guys have student showcase shows back when you made it through the academy, or did you go straight into a Friday night show? What was your debut?
So my very first match, funny enough, like my first bunch of matches were with Danny because he's my trainer and I am like 15 years old at this point. So again, they're just trying to take care of me.
Sure.
So my first match, I feel like kind of Danny kind of doesn't remember this one sometimes. Maybe he does, but my first match was when I was 15 years old. Didn't even have the name Dustin Daniels yet. I didn't have even proper gear at this point. This was a student showcase, I believe, but it might have been like me and one other person that were actually like showcase matches. But funny enough, actually, you know what? I just remembered this. My very first match was for the national title.
Really?
Yeah. And I did not win. 15-year-old me did not beat grown-ass Danny Devine. But yeah, that was my first match. I remember obviously being very nervous about it. And then this is kind of how I feel about every match. Like I get nervous, but once I'm actually in the ring, everything kind of just goes away. I don't know if I'm ever going to watch that match back again. I think I still have footage of it somewhere, but I don't plan on ever watching that again.
I'm totally going to watch it just because you said that. I'm going to go find it. I would imagine that I could get the footage, and I'll watch it off air. I'll watch it on the air. Oh shit. Okay, I'm back.
So I might have to gatekeep that.
Yeah.
Cool.
You may have to, because I'm gonna get with Divine. Divine's gonna give it to me. I'm not gonna watch it online though, and I got booted out of the room, so I'm trying to make sure that we're good to go.
Cool.
We should be. I think we still are. Yeah, we're back. There we are. We're 100%. Sorry, guys. I had to make sure of something. Yeah, editing shit and live streaming shit happens. Divine is very instrumental with a lot of you guys, and runs very parallel. But your story with Millennium Pro, while it intersects with Divine and it intersects with a lot of different people, you can't really talk about, or I can't really talk about Millennium Pro without talking about Bucio and talking about Full Send and talking about how this tag team comes together between you two and what led to it. I haven't gotten the full story outside of the I'll call it in character show that we were able to do, and plus what I have been able to see over the last 4 or 5 months. So walk me through that with pairing up with Bucio. What brought you two together, and then the tag team run that you guys go on, because it was a very significant one.
So In terms of, I guess I'll start off with how I met Bucio. So, Bucio, I wasn't in like a beginners class. They didn't have that yet. I was just kind of thrown in with everyone else, and I was just kind of doing beginner stuff. After me, though, was a an actual beginners course, and Bucio was a part of that. So, I obviously would say hi and stuff, but I didn't really actually talk to him until we did like a student showcase, and I think he's probably brought it up, but there's like a student battle royal that
Mm-hmm.
he won. After that, we just kind of started talking a little, but I believe it was 2019. Um, they were just kind of wanting to start using Bucio on the shows, and so they paired him with me, and we were before full send we were team 200. So the joke with that, I don't remember if I explained it on the last thing, but the
Mm-hmm.
joke was like we're both skinny little guys, so our total combined weight is 200 pounds, so that's the name team 200. So um, we didn't we teamed a little, but not much came out of that team 200 run because COVID happened.
Yeah.
So then basically we were shut down until sometime in 2021 when we did our return show in Chatsworth, and that's when we came back as Full Send. And I believe the opening match of the show. It was Full Send versus the Brothers Divine, a match that has happened a bunch of times since then. But yeah, so then once we were Full Send, we were Full Send. Like that was
Mm-hmm.
like we were just tag team guys. Like I mean, we had singles matches, of course, but we were the tag team, and we slowly, as we kept going, we became like the tag team in MPW. So that was a fun run. We had plenty of title runs, and even like it was honestly a really fun time. Some of the most fun I've had was teaming with Bucio. It was Full Send.
Well, the long term storytelling that has gone on with you and Bucio in front of the camera, is was nothing short of fucking perfect in my opinion. With how the whole thing plays out, and there's been a lot of different things that you've been able to do. I tell you what, let me do that first. Outside of Bucio, because I'm gonna start going towards being able to see what I consider one of the most important matches of MPW's history in live and in living color. But before I do, what are some of the other earlier moments for you that stand out? You just said teaming with Bucio has been some of the best times of your career thus far. What were some of the other moments for you that resonate within MPW, uh, with or I guess with or without Bucio at this point?
So I think one of the so I didn't really have much of a character to begin with when I started. It was kind of just me.
Mm-hmm.
So when I first initially turned heel, um, I loved that first heel run I had. This was probably like way before you started watching, but funny enough, it happened because I turned on Bucio. So
Son of
we've
a
got, we've
bitch.
gone we've gone down that rabbit hole a couple times, but that first heel run I had where we came back from COVID, did the Full Send thing for a little bit. I turned on Bucio, and this is you know, I know I'm in good shape. Sometimes I don't like to admit it because I know I could be better, and I sometimes I don't see what other people see. But this was when we came back. I definitely puffed up a little, and that's when the Jack Daniels character came in. So when I turned heel, it was basically all in on that. Like I was wearing the small little like '70s workout shorts, the kind of visors that if you saw the Beef Boys match, what we were wearing is basically what my heel run was. Like that, it was all that, and that was definitely a big confidence boost for me because they were starting to give me like higher profile opponents, and it was like my first time being heel too, so it was really gave me a chance to, I guess, shine on my own and kind of be more of a leader in the ring in the sense. And that first heel run I had, I really loved. That was a pretty fun time too because it really kind of helped me slowly evolve to getting to where I am today.
Well, I love being heel, and I was all I was back when I couldn't be a babyface. I couldn't be a good guy. I was not a guy that was. I'd rather get you to hate me and want to punch me in the face, and let's sell some tickets and make some money. And I can't do that if I'm shaking hands and kissing babies. I can do that if I have the reins to be me, and in a way would have a live microphone in my hand. And to see that that's kind of where it started to get the evolution to Jack Daniels, Dustin Jack Daniels, because that has been the persona that I have known since the day I've cut on MPW, or it fell into my channel and our lives here, because we don't ever know. And I tell people, especially when I get you on these shows, that it is not by accident that we come across stuff. Like, it happens for a reason. I told Danny Devine this when I was in Chatsworth. It's like, our paths cross for a reason. It's up to us to figure it out. If we figure it out, great. If we don't, we don't. But we got to try to figure out why we're here. And with the platform that we've built over the course of the last 2 years, I have made it a mission to uncover what I feel are hidden gems that you need to be watching. You need to be seeing. You need to see what's happening here, because there's so much more going on in professional wrestling than what's happening in just your major companies. There are a lot of really, really talented folks out there. You guys, when we stumbled into Millennium Pro, we didn't have any context. We didn't know what was going on. And where I say you guys are doing fantastic work is, it's up to y'all with the show that we're watching at that time. You guys have to hook us. You guys have to draw us in. You have to make us want to see more. And you did that. As a matter of fact, Harry's wife in chat, literally the second show that she saw you on was like, I hate that guy. You specifically. Like, whoever the champ is, I hate him. He's a fucking dick. I was like, well, that's Dustin. And he's a dick, but he's my dick. I can appreciate Dustin. And I just want you to know, like, that's how you resonate with people. You can connect. You have that. There's a connectability to it. As you're getting to Justin Jack Daniels and this incredible run that you've had over 2025. Like, this has really been a massive year for you. When you get the nod to pick up the championship, it's not your first run as champion. I believe it's your second run that you just finished up on, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about your first run. When you get that opportunity, before we get into more modern stuff as we progress here, when you get the opportunity to pull the championship for the first time, how'd that feel? What was the dynamic like, and how did it play out for you?
Man, it was, I know I've been saying this a lot. That was one of the coolest things I've done. That was probably, there's like top 2 moments of my career. That's for sure one of them. The Bucio match meant a lot too. We'll get there eventually, but yeah. So that was a whole, almost like, not like a year. It was a long feud. It started off with me on like a downward spiral to the point where I was wrestling in a chicken suit for a month. And so it was the Naughty or Nice match. I don't know if you've seen our one from last year. So the gift I got was I had to wrestle in a chicken suit until I won a match. So we were doing that story for a little bit. So it was going on for maybe like a month or something, where I was just getting squashed week after week after week. And eventually, Danny and Brendan jumped my opponent. I don't remember who it was, but they jumped my opponent, threw them in the ring. I got the pin 1, 2, 3, and then I joined them for a little bit. So I was there for Danny's run. Me and Brendan were basically like his heaters, and then that's when we started the Beef Boys for the first time. And eventually that led to me breaking off from them, and they broke up with me. They jumped me, all that, and I won the California Classic Rumble, and then we went to the anniversary show, and I won the title. And that night was really cool. We filmed like a documentary about it too, which I don't know if it's still up on YouTube, but it was called They Come to See the Champion, which was a very well produced document made by the His name's Nick. He does a lot of our backstage stuff with MPW. That promo for the Bucio and I match, he was the person who did the documentary as well. So he did that as well. So that night was cool, and that first run was a lot of me figuring stuff out because I was not. Again, I just came off this long heel run. That's where I was most comfortable at, and being a babyface, it's not that I wasn't comfortable with it, but I was just so used to being heel that I was kind of worried, like, okay, maybe this might not work. So I think I even straight up told them, like, hey, if early on, if this isn't working, let's just pull the plug on it. But and even some of the first couple like title defenses I had, I was like, okay, something's not right. Like, but eventually stuff started to click, and the run I just got better. I was having great matches with people, and then yeah, it was just a big learning experience too, because going from, I guess, big bad heel, that's what I was used to, and then now being like the top baby face of the company and the crowd getting behind me, and it's just a whole different dynamic, and one that I got used to because I'm the top guy, I'm the baby face, I'm the face of MPW, so that was kind of how I was treating it. I put a lot of pressure on myself during that run too, because I'm like, fuck, everything needs to be good. I put too much pressure on myself. Not that the run was bad, but after, like, when I had the second run, the mindset was different because I'd already done this first run and I knew what to expect. So it was a big learning experience. I'm very grateful for the matches I've had and just that whole time. And I believe too, it's like the third longest reign in MPW history. So that's a little cool thing I can hang on to, I guess.
I used to tell people all the time, the first run just gears you up for the second one.
Yes, that's exactly how I felt.
I mean, it's true. Your first one, you are worried. I can feel where you're coming from on that, and you're concerned, and you're trying to figure out this and that, and not knowing what direction to go. By the time it sets you up for that second one, and goddamn, if you didn't knock it out of the fucking park, I mean, the whole layout of this second run was fantastic. Even, I mean, obviously culminating at the anniversary show, but along the way, like, I mean, Ray Rosas, Diego, like your match with Diego, you had this match with Diego. I was watching it with JB, and neither one of us saw this finish coming at fucking all. And I want to commend both of you and Diego, because it was split second, like I lost my shit. I was like, what did I just see? And it was jam-packed full of just solid wrestling and great storytelling. When you pulled the second win, you defeat J2 for it. You bring up a cash in, and Bucio's involved in the match. And here you go, you're off to the races. So you know that you've now won the belt for the second time. You kind of know what to expect. You're clicking with the Jack Daniels persona. Talk to me about the second run and leading up to this full circle moment with Bucio at the anniversary spectacular.
So I'm gonna be careful with what I say a little because I don't want to throw too much of the illusion away, but I will say I knew about this for a very long time, and so much so I was prepping for it way in advance. Like this mustache, that was because I knew I was going to turn heel. It was going to happen. I remember the initial plan was it was going to happen a lot earlier, like the year before. So that's why I've had it for a bit, but I grew out this mustache because I just like an asshole thing, you know, just to add on to it. And then I had the idea for the robes too, because it's like, what do you think of, like, when I think of 80s wrestling, the big bad guys, Ric Flair, Rick Rude, you know, Michael Hayes, you know, they all had robes. You know, Paul Orndorff, all those guys, they had robes. So I'm like, okay, I want a robe too, because I think that would help with the persona as well. So Um, yeah, this felt a little more natural. I really kind of feel like I'm at my best when I'm a heel, but everything just started to click big time this run. Like the promos were, I've never considered myself to be a great promo. I've just like everything's kind of just been like passable, I guess. Like it's not bad, but it's not like amazing either. Like I think the promo stuff I've done this run is some of the like kind of what I'm most proud of in a sense. I've had some really fucking great matches too. Like the Diego one was really good. Like had it if the Bucio match never happened, that would have been my favorite match that whole run. That night was special. We that was the most people we'd ever had in that building. We kicked off the show and that finish too. Like I don't want to toot my own horn, but I I thought of that finish because I know Brendan and Diego kind of did something similar in a sense where like Brendan had the left on red, he hit him, and then the momentum of Diego getting hit turned him into like doing the devil's tail.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of like my mindset for that. Like, oh, what if he gives it to me and I just somehow bounce back to it? And I was kind of like, is this one of those things where like it just kind of sounds cool in my head, but no one's really gonna like catch it or whatever? But the crowd ended up eating it alive. Like I watching it back. I love seeing the reactions of people in the crowd once they realize like I get hit with the kick, I catch him, hit him with the DDT, and they're like, "Oh fuck!"
Yeah, it was.
He just won.
The timing was spot on. Like I don't know what else to say other than it was that fucking good. To enough to where JB and I were like, "How do you beat this? How do you beat this on the opening of the show?" And I think that was the California Classic, wasn't it?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
it was classic. This year's classic. So it was like, how do you top that? I was like, good luck, guys. Good fucking luck, because it was you got the. And it wasn't just that. Like it led the entire match. It led to the finish. It was not. It was hit. Everything was clicking. The entire deal. And one thing has led to another as you're starting to become really despised. Like
Yeah,
not in a like they legitimately hate you. And I was like, what? How can you hate the guy? I was talking to some folks while I was there before the show started. Like, fuck that show, like Dustin Daniels. I don't fuck the guy. The guy's you just don't get it, and it's okay. I get it. It's like I'm fighting these people because they're hating on you, and I'm like, leave them alone. Dustin's
yeah, but that's if they're hating, that's I'm doing something right. If they're cheering, if they're cheering, which there's been times where people cheer, and sometimes it was a little overwhelming, or not overwhelming, but they're cheering a little too much to the point where it's noticeable. That kind of messes with me because in my head I'm like, okay, fuck, I'm not doing something right. So sometimes I try to figure it out or whatever. But I had great opponents throughout the whole run that helped me get to the point where they just hate me and they want to see the next person get me. Like I had some matches with Jake Redondo, Maximilian Montclair. We did like the 5 minute the 5 minute challenge thing.
It's great.
Which, funny enough, I did not win any of those. the first one we did looked like I was gonna beat Jake Redondo, but he survived the 5 minute timer. And then Maximilian Montclair beat me in 30 seconds.
But it's such a great tool. It's a great tool to have in the toolbox, and it's something that you could have and your character would have fucking done it, dude. Like, let's be fair.
Yeah.
Like it made sense, and it worked, and every opponent along the way is giving you more credibility. I think I even said this on the watch along that we did to the anniversary show. Like, while the moment with Bucio was great, and it is a moment for MPW and MPW's lineage and history, especially with how far back you both go and how hard you guys have worked to get there. There's a lot of stuff behind the scenes, but you don't have that incredible moment where if you watched our watch along, I was in the crowd, I was ringside. I didn't know nothing. I didn't look at a run sheet. I didn't look at nothing. I didn't want to know a finish. I didn't want to know anything. I was out of my seat for the end of this. Like, it brought me up. You could see my face. Like, I was like, oh shit,
Yeah.
this is about to happen. Oh my God, this is about to happen. You don't have that moment without having a great heel champion to get to that point. And this is where I say teamwork, and teamwork makes the dream work, because you put in the work to be a great champion, but you also had so many great people to work with along the way to help build you to that point. So it's all a full circle moment, if you will. And to get to that, knowing that I asked you this on the live show, but everybody was in character at that point. But I wanted to ask you now, because maybe your answer's changed, maybe it doesn't. I feel like, and this is, not to be, ignorant by any means, but I feel like this was the biggest main event for Millennium Pro Wrestling in its history. I could be wrong, but I feel like, just off of watching it, you and Bucio hooking up for the championship at this show with the story that was put into play for years, I feel like it was the main event. And from you, like, how do you feel about that? Do you feel like this was the biggest show of the history, and to be in that position, what's that like?
I definitely felt like, in terms of the hype and the story we had, that yes, this was definitely the biggest match at Millennium Pro Wrestling. And it's kind of weird to say that, considering that, at 14 or at 13 years old, no, sorry, 14 years old, I was in the crowd watching Millennium Pro Wrestling in Moore Park, California. I remember Danny Devine was the champion. That's one of the things I actually remember from the show. I remember Ray Rosas was on it too. But like now, just like 8 years later, like I'm having the biggest main event in this company's history, and it was special for both of us, for sure. Like the whole build to it, again, all the opponents I had before, I need to give a little shout out to Ray Rosas as well, because he was another great opponent I had that really helped with this run too. Like the robes, the Judas, all of that was leading to this very moment. Like that was all for this. Like me winning the title for the first time meant a lot, and what Danny did for me meant a lot. And I was kind of using this time as like okay, now it's my turn to pay it forward to someone else. So that's kind of, it was special for me in that sense, that like Danny did this really cool thing for me a couple years back. Now I get the chance to do it for someone else, and I hope that one day Bucio can do that for someone else too, and then that just keeps going on and on and on. But that match meant a lot. It was a long match, dude. The longest singles match I'd ever had. I think it was like 35 minutes. I knew we were gonna go long. We probably went a little longer than we should have, but that's, if anything, that's on me. But I love that match. Bled for the first time too. I completely forgot about that. And the lighting too. Like Bucio and I asked if we can have that lighting, because it was very reminiscent of the setup I had when I won the title for the first time. So we just kind of wanted to, like, it's our big show, it's our big WrestleMania. So this is like the little thing that kind of makes it stand out a little, just a different lighting setup,
Mm-hmm.
So it was a really cool moment, and getting to kind of just lay down in the ring after they hit the 3 count and just sing Bucio raise the title. That was pretty cool.
It was a moment, man. And from my perspective, and being able to be there and to witness it, and especially knowing the work that you guys put into to get it to that point. Like, when I told Bucio privately, I don't know if you've heard this or not. When I found out, when did I ask him if he knew, when I interviewed him initially on the very first Beyond the Bell that we did, that this was going to be happening, which was prior to the California Classic, earlier than that. And he was like, yeah, man. I was like, he's like, yeah, I kind of did. I was like, man, fuck you. She got me thinking, this whole time. I was like, if I was thinking about making a trip, like I would have made the trip off rip, and it was because of all of you guys that drew me in as a guy who runs a channel and sees good wrestling, and to be there, the emotion that was in that room was so not just and what's so cool about this is it wasn't just for your match, it was for every match on the card. That crowd was there for each and every one of you. So it was an electric feeling. And, when you're being a champion, being a former, like I've held a couple of quote unquote belts. I always have that moment when the 3 count happens and I've lost the championship. And I always just kind of have that deep breath moment. That's what I call it. Like, it's over. It's finally over. Did you have one of those in the middle of the ring as Bucio is getting his hand raised, or what was? How did you feel as soon as the? Well, I'm not going to say the story was finished because I have no idea what's come next with other chapters. But when this chapter of the story comes to a culmination, what's how are you feeling about it? As if you can take yourself back to that final 3 count.
When the 3 count hit with blood running down my face and all that, I just kind of thought to myself, we did it. But that was kind of a me and Bucio thing, but in general, this kind of goes for everyone as well. Like, you brought up the fact that the crowd was there for the whole show. Like, MPW has been on such a fucking killer run recently. Especially like this year, we've been drawing like consistent crowds every single week for almost the entirety of this year, and that kind of just goes to show that everyone's stepped up and everyone's doing good. And it was kind of cool that I got to, in the sense, kind of lead it. I was champion for most of that like run when all that started. I'm not trying to like credit myself for that, but like it was kind of cool that I was the one in charge in a sense. That's not the right verbiage, but you kind of get what I mean.
Yeah, you're the guy that's tapped. You're the guy that's the quote unquote face that runs the place at that point in time. Like this is, it's not. I 100% get it. It's definitely not, it's not an egotistical thing by any stretch. It's just kind of like it's one of those things to sit back and reminisce. And like Divine says that, hey, first of all, Bucio versus Dustin was the biggest match in MPW's history thus far. And that he cried when it was over with. So to be fair, I had goosebumps when it was over with. That's how I knew that this was right, and everything about it was right. Everything that translated from point A to point B. Forgot that you got some blood on that. So when what's your thoughts on all that? I was always I was always a hard way guy. If it happens, it fucking happens. I'm not gonna say I haven't intentionally, but most of the time I'd always say hard way it, because if you hard way it, then it won't fucking stop. What was you thinking when you hit that post and you came up with blood?
So I'm not one to like. That's kind of one of those things that I wanted to do at least once. Bleed. Just kind of get that cool visual.
And
like I love like old videos of like Ric Flair and Terry Funk. Like they're just gushing. But like that was my first time doing it, and it's not something I want to do often. It's like, okay, this is like the one time where
it fit. It totally fit.
This would fit.
Yeah.
Like even in the promos leading up to it, I purposely was kind of saying like, hey Bucio, I'm gonna leave you in a pool of your own blood. I don't know if anyone really caught that, but like
I did.
That was intentional. But funny enough, we're throwing back the whole curtain today. So it wasn't hard way. I had a little gig. I had I made a couple. I had one in my wrist tape, but as you know, it was very hot in that building.
Yep.
And
I sensed your frustration with the. I was not going to talk about your wrist tape at all. I sensed your
My
frustration, but now I know why.
so my right side basically before the match even started like had already fallen apart. So I had it on my left side, and I'm like, I was worried like okay it's gonna fall, and then eventually I just looked down at my wrist. I'm like oh my god my wrist tape's gone, and so's the gig. So I'm like oh shit. But thankfully too I had backup ones hidden somewhere like under the ring. So but funny enough, I don't think anyone really noticed this but me. So I guess you can maybe go back and watch and notice. But I find the gig in the ring and hand it off to St. Clair because
I
so, yeah. So maybe
there were
go back and
there's a couple of those moments. One of them's the Divine's wedding ring. Somebody's wedding ring comes off and he hands it to the referee. Yes, I get man.
So that honestly, I'm not encouraging wrestlers to bleed because it's really not needed. There's a time and place for it. I think it's very overdone nowadays, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. um, it was again. I'm not gonna be doing that often, but it wasn't as bad as I thought. So and the visual, like when I saw the video of it, like on the YouTube channel, I was like, oh my god, I actually was like kind of.
It was your
like,
Austin
really,
moment, really, and it excuse me, it made sense. Like your Austin Bret Hart, go back to where Bret had Steve Austin in the sharpshooter, and he's got the blood pouring all down his face, and he's pushing up off the mat. Like that's kind of your Austin moment. And I could see, in that situation, it did make sense. That story, could have had it, either which way. But I appreciate the fact that you're acknowledged and intelligent enough to not want to do that kind of stuff all the time. But if the story's right and it makes sense and you get something out of it too, because that also with it not happening and it being a first time in story, you could almost pull it as another level of toughness to a degree. Like you had to fucking crack my head on a post and blah 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 blah. Like there's different story drives that your character could take out of that too. But it was a moment. That whole match. You said you guys went 35 minutes. I forgot that's how long it was. I was up for 24 hours at that point, and I was okay with it. I was okay with it. It made me feel like I was your age, and I think I'm double that at this point. But it was a night to remember. And Divine over in chat, Dustin was QB1. So you were definitely doing your job. And to do it at, not to sound like that old dude, but to do it at such a young age. But 9 years in, going on 10, 2025 was a fantastic year for you. And I think that 2026 is, it's right around the corner. And there's already some really cool things that are happening. So from your perspective, I would ask you what else would you like to accomplish in 2025? But I mean, we're right here knocking on the end of the door, so I think I'll shift it around with 2026. How are you going to level up and make 2026 more gratifying than 2025 has been for you?
So I've kind of gotten to the point in wrestling where I love MPW. Everyone at MPW loves MPW and very much cares for MPW and the product that we're producing every week. So I just my main goal as a wrestler right now is just to do whatever I can to possibly help the show, help grow it. If we can pull huge crowds each week, if get another building, if something like that can happen. But the main thing I want in 2026 is to make MPW bigger. I think this is the first year where we've really kind of gotten to that step of, okay, this is growing. This is growing more than maybe not more than we're used to, but it's growing. It's growing a lot. Like we're getting pretty big crowds every week, and that's something I'm really proud of. That's something that we're all proud of, and we're all stepping up, having killer matches each week. I feel like there's still a big like people know about MPW, but also I feel like there's still a big part of the San Fernando Valley that has no clue that we exist. So I want to do what I can to hopefully expand that audience a little more, just so people know, and people know that, hey, if you want to do something on a Friday night, come down to Chatsworth. Like, we got a college that's very close to MPW, which I may or may not be attending. So I want to try to. I was talking with Bucio the other day. I'm like, man, I really should be like flyering out there at the school, because that's another like big market right there is college kids.
Yeah.
Actually, funny enough, completely off topic. I remember my first day of this semester, someone actually got recognized at one of the buildings, which was kind of funny. But
No,
my
you
main
gotta tell me a story.
yeah. So I'm just walking either to my class or like something, and it's like, hey, are you Jack Daniels? I'm like, yeah, yeah. And I'm like, oh, we just had a quick little interaction of like, oh yeah, I've been to a couple of the shows. Like, I really like you, and I like MPW and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, we got this cool anniversary show coming up, so try to go to that.
Yeah.
This was right before the anniversary show, so
You know what's crazy? And again, we don't ever talk about any of this before we come on the air, but you're talking about how you're on a camp, brother. My real job is I'm over a student housing facility in Gainesville. So it's not a dorm, it's like a student apartments and shit like that. So like I manage 1,300 front doors for college students. Yes.
yeah,
So it's crazy. It's another little thing. When you said that, I went, bro, because I never told you what I did in the real world. But yeah, there you go. That's why they pay the bills and they pay well. And it's also conveniently why I can't grow hair. You guys have all taken it away from me. So it's a non-factor. But I understand that too, like flyer and that stuff. Because and it's funny, and it's kind of kind of a transition here. There's a lot of stuff that we're trying to do on the channel, and where I'm at is a college market. It's a college town. Literally, if school's not in session, there's not shit going on. Not a fucking thing. Ghost town. I'm trying to figure out how to bring professional wrestling to my market and make it successful, which is kind of why these live events that we're about to start doing are a thing, and even remotely a thing, because I'm trying to figure out how I can make something happen here and not necessarily lose my nuts every fucking show. I can lose my nuts on a couple, can't lose my nuts on all of them. But it's the college dynamic is something that I'm thinking about, and there's so many places that you could just here could go and flyer. I don't know about where you're at, but that would definitely be something to look into. Maybe even like trying to, I don't know what that looks like, but maybe trying to get in with the school to say, hey, let's do we do an event here, just to see if there's enough spot, or if there's a place outside that they could put the ring up and just do like a student show for the college. See how many people would show up to it. Guarantee you probably get 400 or 500 people. They would just walk up to it and be like, what the fuck?
yeah, definitely. Like, I've had talks with places about something like that. Unfortunately, it didn't. There was interest. I don't know if anything's actually going to come out of it, so I guess we'll just have to wait down the line and see. But also, too, I guess going back to the growth of MPW, I think I need to acknowledge the fact that, like, we're all killing it on the show, but I think a big part of why we even started getting consistent crowds every week is because of Brendan. Because I think he went on Reddit and just started, like, basically flyering on Reddit, basically, was what he was doing. And I think that did get a lot of attention, too. So, you gotta give a lot of credit to my tag team partner, Big Brendo, my beef boy, Big Brendan Devine. It's all of us, but Brendan doing that, going out of his way to do that was pretty big too.
Well, I think reality is this: like if you're saying that everybody is succeeding or the growth is happening, then I think naturally at some point, then everybody will slowly start investing into figuring out how to spread that word and figuring out what that looks like. and figuring out how they can contribute. As this is, and I only say that because this is what we're dealing with as every day as on a channel. There's 7 or 8 guys here, and we're just all trying to figure it out and figure out how to grow and do it in a different way. I think with you guys, it is tremendous to see how far you guys have come over the last 7 or 8 months that we've been following, let alone the last 2 years, and where you could possibly be going in the future. And you talk about crowds, and something that I was talking to Danny Devine about. One thing I said to him was, we were talking about the size of the crowds and sellouts, and the owner says if we sell it out, we can get a bigger building. I said, well, we need to figure out how to get you a bigger building, because your product deserves to be seen in front of an audience. And it's really one of those things that's so special to sit back and watch. And then when I hear you talk about it, and I hear guys like Bucio talk about it, I hear guys like Redondo and Jeremiah Fresh, and even Danny and Brendan themselves, about how passionate they are about growing the business that you guys are working on and working on collectively, makes me want to take part in it, makes me want to do more and say, what can I do to help? How can I help? So it's infectious, and it makes, people with platforms will reach out. Other people will reach out. Case in point, we're being filmed for a documentary on independent wrestling. I think I'm 2 weeks. I'll have a guy in my fucking house filming me doing what the fuck we do here. Don't think for one second that Millennium Pro is not going to be on my screen during one of those 10 days of filming. Don't think for one second that people that that have connected with us, that we have connected with, that I won't be utilizing that time when I know that there's going to be a camera that's going to put this product in front of millions of people. Yeah, I'm going to utilize that, and I'm going to utilize that the right way. And I'm going to try and do that and put the light on you guys where it belongs, because you guys are the reason we have a fucking platform. That's real. It doesn't, that's just the way it is. And it's going to be a wild ride. The project, I'm told that if it does well, then there's opportunity to do other things. He's already asked where his second stop should be, and I've already told him Southern California. That's how this shit works, and it's because of what you guys do. So it leads me to getting around to a couple of really good questions on our way out as we start winding things down. And the first one I've got for you with professional wrestling, it's on fire. It's everywhere. It's literally one of those things. Who are some people that you want to get in the ring with? If you could have your bucket list of dream matches, or maybe not necessarily dream matches, but just in general, who are some folks out there on the scene right now that you wouldn't mind tangling with?
I do have a couple in mind. First off, I want to start with MPW. Daniel Moon's back.
Mm-hmm.
I have not wrestled him one-on-one ever. I think we've maybe had like a tag match or two, but I've never really been in the ring with him one-on-one. I guarantee you that'll happen eventually. So I'm not really too worried about that, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Not to that sounds horrible, not to discredit him at all, but I know that match will happen eventually.
Yeah.
But I guess people on the scene, I'm not really too much like hey, I have this person in mind. It's kind of like, if you give me someone, I'll make the best out of it. But with that being said, though, I do have 2 people in mind. So Starboy Charlie, he's a guy, he's around my age too. He's been killing it. That's someone that eventually I would love to get in the ring with. And then there's also a younger kid in the scene. His name's Angel Pureheart. I don't know if you've heard of him, but I've never met him. I know he's in the SoCal area, but he reminds me a lot of me. Like, he's just a young kid that likes old school wrestling, and like he really kind of puts that into his presentation. So whether it's like just having a one-on-one or even teaming with him, I think that would be kind of cool. But I'm kind of like, hey, just give me anyone, and we'll make some magic happen.
Yeah, no, I get it 100%. I was kind of in the same boat. It would be one of the situations, be like, I don't give me whoever you want to give me, and I was always the guy that made chicken salad. It didn't matter who I was in the ring with. But it's one of those things that, and Starboard Charlie, by the way, is fucking fantastic. I'm
he's
a
like
big
good.
fan of his, and TJ Alexander. The TJ's, I stumbled across them when I think they were West Coast Pro tag champions, and maybe Alexander was also like the world champion or something at the time. This was a couple of years ago. But that's fantastic. I'd love to see that. I need to get in with those guys so I can make some of that stuff happen. I can be like, hey man, we're gonna come out to Southern California. Let's make that. Let's book that. Let's put that on a chapter and start crossing off some bucket list items. With when it comes down to companies, are there any specific companies that you've got your eyes on? Anybody that if you could dip your toe in the water, where would it be?
So there was one. Okay, so going back to something I talked about earlier, I brought up PCW Ultra.
Yeah.
I don't think they're really running shows anymore. I don't know if that will change eventually, but that was actually the very first independent wrestling show I went to. So that would be kind of like a cool, I guess, kind of a full circle moment for me if that could happen. But also, I don't know if they're even running anymore. So I guess that one's kind of a wait and see, I guess. I don't know. I'm kind of open to anything. I mean, I guess GCW, that would be kind of cool. But I'm kind of open to anything. Like one of my goals early on was championship wrestling from Hollywood, which I did. So that was kind of one of the bucket list things that I crossed off. But right now, like my big focus right now is MPW. I know I keep saying that, but I got other priorities in life, unfortunately, that I need to that I want to take care of before I really fully commit with wrestling. So right now, my focus is what can I do to make MPW the best fucking thing ever.
No,
That's my goal right now. I'm not opposed to, I don't want this to sound the wrong way. I'm not opposed to wrestling other places. If you want me, hit me up and let's see if we can make something happen. But right now, I'm working, going to school, and got my Fridays available just for MPW.
No, I get it. I get it 100%. I always ask that question though because the beautiful thing about what we've been able to do on our platform is make a lot of really good friends and with companies and and always trying to further the relationships that we do build and being able to maybe point guys in the right direction, point girls in the right direction of places that they could go and work if they choose to. And in your case, yeah, you're definitely, cruising and trying to, get some stuff squared away, get school squared away, because it's always better to have that backup and always have that fallback outside of professional wrestling. But I could always see you when you do go 100% and do it. If that is something you do once you get through everything else, it is going to be a beautiful ride and a fantastic story to be told, man. I'm telling you. And we have talked a lot about wrestling. Excuse us real quick. Nina dropped in chat. She dropped in and said, "Hey, Dusty."
Hey, you know what? I just realized I don't think Nina and I have ever wrestled one-on-one either. So, we'll I'm sure that'll happen eventually too. So that's another one I'm looking forward to. And then, sorry, this thought just came to my head. So, in terms of promotions, not necessarily a promotion, but I would love to wrestle in Japan because I actually have family that lives in Japan. So I would love to do something out there eventually. But yeah, no, I guess no promotion in particular. I've just being out there and doing something would be cool.
Well, I Japan I'm working on. But I do know people who've been to Japan, and we can definitely put you in touch with people who can get you there. But I would think,
brother, you're worldwide. You're worldwide at this point.
I am. If you would have told me, and I say this all the time, and I mean this too. That's the crazy thing. You told me 2 years ago when we started this platform, which, mind you, was started because I was working and doing some odds and ends with 2 other cats, and I wasn't having fun. And, if this was a hobby and it's something that's supposed to do, but you gotta have fun doing it. So what do you want to do? I said independent wrestling. Everybody was covering WWE and AEW and the bigger feds and shit like that. But I was like, but let's look at all this talent. We have this big ass fucking world of people that we know nothing about. And I was told, no, that's dumb. You're not. It's stupid. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for me. I happen to enjoy professional wrestling. I happen to enjoy watching different people, watching different companies, watching different characters develop. I happen to enjoy that. So that's what we did. And here we are. It's every continent. If you'd have told me 2 years ago that somebody on every continent knew who I was or knew what our channel was, I'd have called you a fucking liar. No way. But here we are. Yeah. This motherfucker don't stop usually, by the way. Like, this is a blessing and a curse every day. But I never expected this. And more importantly, I don't care about who knows who we are and who don't know who we are or what we're doing and what we're not doing. Because at the end of the day, it's never about us. It's about you guys. It's about the companies. It's about you being able to draw us in as not only wrestling fans. And yeah, I have the backside knowledge because I did jump in the ring for 5 or 6 years. That does not make me an expert on fucking anything. It just makes me be able to relate and understand what goes into it. My guys on the channel, none of them have been in the business before. They're fans. They sit back and they see this from a different perspective. That's why I love them to death, because they're not workers. They don't know, and they keep me honest. And it's just, I'm sorry. That's my one rant, guys. I get one. I just used it. ADHD went, it took off, but that's why we're here. It's you guys.
Hey, I love to hear that though, because honestly, like it's good to not take for granted what you love and what you're doing. I'll tell a quick little story. So I remember it was earlier this year. So my mom was showing me just like a video on her phone of just some like cover band concert she went to, and she told me like man, I really wish I could have done something like that. Like I'm really proud of you for you living your dream. And that kind of hit hard because I'm like, not that I'm taking professional wrestling for granted, but it's just become such a it's just my life now that like it's just I didn't really ever it just got to the point where yeah, it's my life and it's also like kind of losing the words for it, but I'm not that I'm taking it for granted, but it's like I'm living out my dream.
Mm-hmm.
Like I never really again, it's become so normal. This is my Friday night life, but I'm living out my dream, It's like, and I'm, it might not be at the highest level, but I'm still every Friday night, I'm throwing on a pair of trunks, some wrestling boots, a robe, and I'm playing up to a crowd. I'm essentially living the dream, and I was kind of taking that for granted for a little bit, just not really realizing like it's like, oh, okay, it's another Friday night, not like, oh, today's Friday. I get to wrestle. I'm blessed that I can be on this show. I could wrestle. I could entertain people, and I could have a good time. Because at the end of the day, my goal in life is to put smiles on people's faces, whether it's me being the good guy or it's me being the asshole heel that gets his ass beat. Like that's my goal, and I guess I was essentially kind of taking that for granted at one point, and it just became so like my life that I just didn't really think about the fact like I'm living out the dream, I'm having fun.
That's what I used to tell people all the time. And even with this, I tell my guys all the time too, even today, if you're not having fun, then why are you doing it?
Exactly.
Like this platform is how I have to use it. If I'm not having fun, then why am I doing it? Yeah, I work 40 plus hours probably 45, 46 weekly with the real job. And then this is another 30, 35.
Damn.
You know, but this is where you say, like, you know, work pays off. You know, I always told some of these guys too, you're only going to be as successful as the work that you put into what you're doing. And, you know, we've now been lucky enough to have several people that are investing into our channel now, and that are putting, because they see what we're doing and see where we're going. And truly, we're just scratching the surface. There's a much bigger plan that I'm currently kind of working on that I feel will make the place a little bit better. And I've never, you know, when I got out of wrestling, brother, you have to think, like, I got out because I fell into the wrong crowd, and I was not. If I didn't get out, I was going to die. That's where we were at, and I didn't think that I was going to turn around and do anything with professional wrestling again. And now here we are. And now we're in a position to, if this thing works and goes the way I think it can help a lot of people. And by help, I mean, like, put you guys in positions to be seen by people that you may not be seen before. And, you know, owners of companies and federations that it may open doors for you guys. And that's the fucking win. Case in point. And we'll start winding this thing down. You know, our live events. We're doing chapter 1 and 2 in Florida. Chapter 3 is coming out to Southern California. It's coming out to Chatsworth. It's happening. It's happening in March. And I know that you and I have had a conversation about it, but we'll talk about it now. Like, I specifically I wanted a handful of people from Millennium Pro, and I wanted a handful of people from Primal Pro to, if I was going to put this thing together, and I wanted to put this live event together. You are on that list of people that, okay, I don't think I can do this show unless I have A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. You're in one of those positions in my head as I'm putting this thing together. And it's going to be on March the 28th. I want Dustin there. I want Dustin Jack Daniels on the show. Are you going to come out and do this with me? Are you going to take part in this, what I'm hoping turns into a Southern California all-star weekend of Millennium Pro, possibly this chapter 3 Good Vibrations, and then you've got Primal Pro down in San Diego on that Sunday. So I want Dustin on Saturday night. What are you thinking? Are you down?
Yeah, you know, I'm thinking that March 28th, I'm actually the most busiest I've ever been in my life, and will definitely not be there, and will never consider being there. And yeah, I will not be there.
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
Fucking terrible.
I am. You know, March 28th, 2026, Chatsworth, California. You know, I'm there.
I would hope.
I'm there.
I would hope so.
Give me the details in private, and I'll be there. Like, because, you know, we've talked in private about this, even on the last show we did. Like, sounds exciting. You know, this could be something.
It's happening.
So, yeah, so I'd love to be a part of it. So I'm glad that you want me to be a part of it, and I will be a part of it.
Yeah, well, so, I gotta have Lady Gaga on the show. I just just to make other people mad. I think, who was it? Eddie Rohr said Gaga sucks a while back. You're like, you
know what, Eddie Rohr, if you're watching, you suck.
You're fucking sell to that when he said that. Was great. You're like, no, she doesn't. Gaga doesn't suck. It was so hilarious. It was great. My last question for you, brother, and then I will let you. We'll wind this up. We'll get out of here. I always ask everybody this, and this is one that's guaranteed clippable. When I ask, who should I be watching? And what I mean by that is, when it comes to you, people that you've been in the ring with, maybe people that are, that you're familiar with on the scene, that maybe don't get the spotlight that they deserve, or maybe could use additional spotlight. Who are some people, according to Dustin Jack Daniels, that we should be watching at CCP Podcasting?
Gosh, you know, the names I'm going to throw you are people that you're probably already watching and very invested in. I'll give you 3 people. I'll start with Draven Silvera. You know, he just turned heel recently, so I'm really excited to see that progression in his career because he's no longer the guy from the Millennium Wrestling Academy. He's Draven Silvera. So I'm excited to see where that goes and the way how he takes the ball with that and runs with it, you know. Another one, I know this is a guy you're very high on. So this is it's Jake Redondo.
Yes.
He is. I've told this to him before. This isn't me trying to glaze him or anything like that. I think he is way better than he has any right to be for his experience level. Like he is. You can tell he wants it. He's really going out there, getting on these shows. His fucking gear looks great. Like he is way too good for his experience level. And I've told this to him before. And I really think down the line, Jake Redondo has the chance to really be something in professional wrestling. Another person is Bucio. He's the champion now. He's the guy. He is MPW. So I would say keep an eye on him because this is the MPW champion Bucio. This isn't the guy that's trying to take the title off of me. This isn't the same guy from even like Full Send or anything before that. This is the man. You know, a famous Bucio quote, which is not his quote obviously, but he had it on his Twitter bio, is to be the man, you got to beat the man. Obviously, that's not his quote, but I remember that was kind of a running joke because that was just his Twitter bio for the longest time. He beat the man, and he is now the man. So I would say keep an eye on the man and see how he takes charge with MPW now that he's the one on top.
Well, let me ask you this, and I know I said that was the last question, but as we're talking, you bring up Bucio and his championship. Let me get your take. Bucio or Brandon Devine? It's a pretty big deal that's coming up here within the next couple of weeks, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, I think it's a first title defense too.
Yeah, I do believe that's his first title defense, and you know you're throwing the ace at him like that's.
I'm scared.
You're throwing the top dog. You're throwing the guy. You're throwing the ace, the face. Brendan Devine is a stud. I know him well. Obviously, we've teamed a bunch, and he's a different animal right now. And it's a ladder match, I'm pretty sure too. So
yeah,
you know, Brendan's already like a super aggressive. He'll hit you. He'll fucking slam you hard. He'll make you hurt. You throw a ladder in there, that's gonna be a rough night for Bucio. So honestly, like, it's hard to see Bucio getting out of that.
Here's what scares
me. With the title.
Here's what scares me.
I think Brendan's winning it. Like he is the most aggressive. He's physically in the best shape he's ever been, and it's a ladder match too. Like you throw that in there, that changes the whole thing. Like he can beat the shit out of Bucio with the ladder easily. So I think Brendan's got it.
Here's what scares me. This is what concerns me. What concerns me is that it's not only the ace. It's not only Brandon fucking Devine. It's Brandon Devine who's coming in on the last several big matches that he's had. He's come up short. He came up short against Danny at the Anniversary Spectacular. Lost the national championship to Eddie Rohr. Carolina Classic came up short. So he's coming into this not only with a different edge and a different mindset. Take into consideration that it is a ladder match, which means, by the way, there's no disqualification. So what's to stop anyone from putting their nose in that business, which could lead to a championship changing hands? I think this is a very scary title defense for Bucio. And if I'm Bucio, I'm growing eyes in the back of my head because you don't ever know what's going to happen. I'm scared.
Yeah,
I'm scared here.
If I was Bucio, I would be too. And honestly, like, I completely forgot the fact that honestly, yeah, Brendan has had a couple high profile losses as of recent, but honestly, that's just adding fuel to the fire. Like now it's at
Facts.
the point where it can't lose.
Facts. Which makes him that
It
much more
can't lose.
dangerous.
Like when Daniel Moon punched Brendan in the face, which was fucking bullshit, but I guess he resigned as manager or whatever. So,
Yep.
but I saw like Brendan was pissed, and I was trying to have to calm him down backstage. Like there's a little vignette after, but like a pissed off Brendan Devine is not someone you want to be in the ring with. Like that's like the closest thing to death. he's gonna fuck you up. So Bucio, if you know like if you have a massage gun, use it, relax, do all that ahead of time, and say a little prayer before the match starts. Because Brendan Devine's gonna be a tough man to beat.
Well, we're gonna find out what's happening there, and I can tell you this, and I haven't been able to lock down the dates, but there will be a moving forward. We're gonna give Millennium Pro a night of the week on the schedule, so we'll be watching everything that you guys are doing moving forward, which will be a nice little treat for us, so we can continue to keep up with what you guys have going on. I think the world of everything that's happening out there and what you guys have done collectively, excuse me, to continue to build your scene. And I can't thank you enough for giving me so much time this afternoon just to sit down and talk about you and your journey, and where you're headed. And with these conversations, like I really just scratched the surface, because I hope that you have a great time and you want to come back talk to us again, so that we can continue as we grow, our relationship grows. And in you guys' case, like especially out in Southern California, like I really feel like we're gonna on the cusp of doing some stuff out there at least quarterly, and being able to work with you guys and work and have you guys on shows, outside of Millennium or Primal, because I think the world of both of those locations, and it's going to be a wild and fun ride, and I can't wait for you guys to be a part of it. And I'm thankful that you first of all didn't punch me in the face when I was in Southern California. And that we've had this opportunity, and again for the time, man. Is there anything that you'd like to say to the audience before we get ready to wrap it on up?
Yeah, first off, though, I want to thank you because I mean you've done a lot for Millennium Pro Wrestling. Reaching out to all of our guys and doing interviews and stuff like that. It means the world to all of us. You're giving us a platform too. It goes both ways. You're helping us out even more than we're probably helping you out, honestly. But for the audience, please keep supporting Millennium Pro Wrestling because we are really doing some magical stuff right now. We're telling stories. That's how we're getting people in the building. We're telling stories. We're telling interesting stories that get people to come out every week. So please, please, please come and support Millennium Pro Wrestling. I don't know when I'll be there next, honestly. Like if I'm gonna be straight up, like I'm a little fucked up right now. Like my body's hurting and stuff like that. So I will be back eventually. I don't know when, I don't know where, but for now, please just support the crew that is there, and just know I'll be back eventually. And when I do come back, there's gonna be some hell to pay.
You know what's crazy is, as you just said that, I'm not kidding you. I'm in Florida, and I don't know if you heard it or not, but I know they probably did in chat. When you said that you will come back, there was the loudest clasp of motherfucking thunder outside because a storm has just rolled in. It was like
Hell yeah.
perfectly timed with everything. Again, as Dustin was saying, on top of following and liking and subscribing with Millennium Pro Wrestling, the easiest way that you can support anything in independent wrestling is like, sharing, and subscribing. It's been on the screen the entire show right there underneath him. Dustin, if you want to catch him on Instagram, it's Dustin Daniels with an underscore after it. Hit the follow button, and share stuff. Pay attention to what's going on, because you never know what you're going to walk into and who else you may walk into and see along the way. Because what started out with Danny Devine and Brendan Devine has led us to Dustin, to Bucio, to Eddie Rohr, to Ray Rosas, to Jake Redondo, to J2 Mattioli, Jeremiah Fresh, the Pump Line. I can go on and 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 on. And it's because of professional wrestling and what these guys have going on. For my guest today, Dustin Daniels, I am Chris Page. We will see you next time.